Hey, what's going on, everybody? Manny here once again. Welcome to DFS Zone. It's been quite a while. I'm back to do some NFL this year, some Prizepicks as well as some FanDuel. Yes, you guys know I love doing GPPs. I'm going to discuss in today's video, and all week long, each video is going to be pertaining to a couple of players that I'm looking at to give to you guys for each position. Today, we're going to discuss quarterbacks. I got two quarterbacks that I would like to discuss. I think they're in great matchups, great team totals, great game totals. They're going to be really good this coming week, and we're going to talk about this right after the intro. All right, we're back, man. The two quarterbacks. We're going to get right to it. I got about five, to be honest, that I really have done some good research on, and I really feel that five quarterbacks are going to do fairly well. It's going to be tough for me at this moment to really decide which ones I'm going to really put, I'm going to invest the most on. But I'm going to talk about two of them today that I truly believe that they're great options for you guys out there if you're going to do GPPs like I do, or you're going to play some player props like Prizepicks or Sleeper or any of those software programs that are out there. So we're going to discuss the first guy is going to be Justin Herbert. Great matchup here against the Miami Dolphins to start the year off. Herbert, man, what can we say? The kid is a pretty good talent. He just got himself a very lucrative contract, so this guy's got to be elated, ready to go out and do some serious damage this year. And I think he's going to start off with a bang here. He's playing at home against Miami. The game totals are great. They have the second or third highest game total for the week as a team. As a team total, as well as a game total. 27 as a team total. And I do believe they're going to be able to put up 27 points or better against the Miami Dolphins. And it's a 51 for the actual game. So it's a good game to target if you really want to stack up on doing some game stacks. I think this is a good game, one of the games that you could definitely have an option on. But Herbert, let's just go over a little bit about his numbers and why I think he's going to be in a good spot. Obviously, he had the big contract. But Justin Herbert, last year, he was second in the league in pass completions. He completed 477 passes last year. He was second in passing yards with 4,739 yards. He also had 5 300-plus games. I think he can do that this first week of the season. Was third best in pass completions in the NFL as a quarterback at 68.2% of his passes were completed last year. Threw for 25 touchdowns, which was, I think was also second or third in the NFL, and finished with 10 interceptions. But a quarterback rating in the top 12, 94.8%. So quarterback rating was also fairly good as well. He averaged, as you can see here on FanDuel, 17 fantasy points per game, but he did have a few games over. Actually, I think he had 5 games. 5 games last year, he had over 20 fantasy points, and including 19.48 against these same Miami Dolphins last year. They played one game. In that one game, he just threw the ball all over the place. 51 passes completed, 39 of them in that game for 367 yards and 1 touchdown, no interceptions. This offense is very explosive. The Charger offense finished second in the NFL in a number of plays. Okay, for one, almost 68 plays per game. They were second in pass attempts per game at 41.8, pretty much 42 passes per game on average. They are a offensive-minded team, and they're also a pass-oriented team, utilizing Austin Eckler as that dual threat back to be able to go in between the tackles, and then, of course, have him sweep away and be able to get him outside in the routes as well. Third most passing yards per game at 269.6 yards per game, pretty much 270 yards a game. They're going up against Miami. Miami had their struggles. They were 24th in points allowed, so it was one of the bottom. They were one of the bottom NFL teams as far as how many points they were giving up to opposing teams. They gave up 23.5 points per game to opposing teams during the course of last year. They finished 27th in pass defense, allowing 238.5 yards per game on the average. They also allow 59% of the opponents in the red zone to score TDs. That was one of the lowest in the NFL as well. They gave up the 4th most fantasy points per game to opposing tight ends at 12.1 fantasy points per game to tight ends. Hello, Jared Everett. And then you have your 26.9 fantasy points per game were given up to opposing wide receivers. And there goes possible opportunities for Mike Williams as well as Keenan Allen. And they finished with at the same time. Now, granted, Miami did improve defensively just slightly by adding Jalen Ramsey, who was a little up and down over the course of the, exhibition games and over the last couple of weeks. So we'll see if he's going to be 100%. He might not be 100%, might play, might not be 100%, but if he is, nonetheless, I still think that Herbert and Gang could definitely get it done. So Justin Herbert is definitely one person that I really think is in a good spot this week. There, like I said, there's a couple other quarterbacks. It goes, I ain't going to discuss any more than the two I'm going to discuss. My second guy that I think is in a very good spot, I was debating either sharing with you guys Russell Wilson, which I think is going to have a comeback year, new coach in Sean Payton, different type of offense. He does have some good route runners and some good players there with Judy and Sutton, and he got that nice tight end, Dolchich or something like that. He's pretty good as well. And then, of course, you got Burrow, you got a couple of guys. But I think Geno Smith, to me, is someone that everyone should definitely consider. Another game with a nice, good total, too. He has a 2016 total. They're in a good spot. They're playing the Rams. They already played the Rams twice last year, and he did fairly well in those games. And we're going to discuss that. Geno last year had, as we know, a huge season. 33 touchdowns, as you can see here. He finished 6th in completions with 399 he completed. He finished 8th in passing yards with 4,282 yards last year. He also had 4 300-plus yard games, which is right there, right close to Justin Herbert. One of those games was against the Rams, which we'll discuss in a moment. He finished with a 69.8% completion percentage, and he threw, as you can see, 33 touchdowns. He had a total of 33 touchdowns. He threw 30 touchdowns, and he ran for 3. 11 interceptions. He had a quarterback rating better than Justin Herbert, 101.6, and which was third best in the NFL. And he's going up against a Ram team with no Jalen Ramsey, who was traded to Miami, as we all know, and he is the one in that one game against that he played the Rams. Jalen Ramsey is the one who intercepted Geno Smith for 2 in one game. Seattle finished in 8th in scoring as a team offense with 239 passing yards per game on average. They finished 11th in passing yards per game at 231. They finished first scoring 23.4 points per game. Okay, that's what I meant. And they finished 11th in passing yards per game with 231.4 yards per game. They're going up against the Rams, as we all know, who allow 22.6 points per game to opposing offenses. 24th in passing yards allowed, 226 yards per game. They were in the middle of the pack in TD passes allowed with 23. The Rams also allow 16 plus fantasy points per game to opposing quarterbacks, 27.8 fantasy points per game to opposing wide receivers, and 20.6 fantasy points per game to opposing running backs. So they're going to find themselves in a tough spot with Geno and Gang, with Lockett and Metcalf, and Geno as well as he is so mobile and also could be able to run the ball downfield as well. In 2 games last year versus the Rams, Geno picked up his first game, 28 of 39, great completion percentage, 367 yards, 3 touchdowns, and an interception, and that was in game 1. In game 2, didn't throw the ball as well, 19 of 31, did still get over 200 yards, 213 yards. He did throw 2 interceptions, both caught by Jalen Ramsey, who is no longer now with the Rams, and then he finished off also with 4 rushes for 51 yards. They're facing a team which they're going to be even a little bit weaker than were last year. I think Geno Smith is going to have an absolutely big game. I'm going to have quite a bit of Geno Smith as GPP play, as well as I think I also love him also with the Prizepicks. And if we look at Prizepicks to discuss these two guys, right now at the very moment, Herbert at 287 is fairly high, but something tells me, I really truly believe he's going to throw over 300 yards in this game. This is going to be a barn burner. I believe that Justin Herbert is definitely a over for me here at 287.5, and I would select Geno Smith here as a package between those two. Geno's at 235.5 yards. I do believe he'll be able to get that also, because remember, you also have to look at where these teams fit in as far as their style of play. Both teams are high offense teams that rely on the passing game a little bit more so, especially with the weapons they got. Geno's got Metcalf, also has Lockett. Then you look at the San Diego. You look at the Chargers, or the LA Chargers, with Keenan Allen and of course Mike Williams, and now and Eckler, and then they also now got Everett. You know, a lot of options for both Geno and for Justin Herbert. And that's where I believe these two guys are going to be solid plays for you guys. So those are the two that I like. Some sleepers, some guys that I could just mention real briefly. I really think that Russell Wilson is someone that you should consider. Numbers are good too for for Russell Wilson. He had 2 solid games last year against the Raiders. The Raiders have not done anything at all to improve themselves defensively, so I believe that he's going to have a very good game. Joe Burrow, obviously excellent talent, probably one of the best quarterbacks in the league, probably top 3 in my book, or top 4, and he's got a solid receiving corps too. When you think of Chase and you think of Higgins, and he's got Boyd over there as well, and then of course he has Joe Mixon out of the backfield, who's a dual threat back. But they're also a pass-oriented team. They were up there high in pass plays, so they're going to throw the ball quite a bit against the Cleveland Browns. I think Cleveland's going to be improved as well, especially if Deshaun can really get himself going. Deshaun could be a sleeper here, but I would prefer Burrow more over Deshaun in this matchup. And then you got the young kid, Anthony Richardson, for the Indianapolis Colts. Watch out. This is a guy that, obviously with the running back situation they have now, he is a guy that has some good legs, very athletic. He's a mobile quarterback. I could see him running easy 40, 50 yards in this game, maybe even more. So Anthony Richardson is definitely someone you can consider as well. And then, of course, I also kind of like Trevor Lawrence a little bit. He showed a lot of good improvements last year. Jaguars are a much better offensive team. Look out for the Jags with Trevor Lawrence as well. And that's pretty much what I have for you guys, man. So the 2 picks that I like them both for Prizepicks. I like them both for FanDuel or DraftKings as GPP plays. Wish you guys a lot of luck, man. Drop a like, man. Make sure if you have not subscribed to the channel, if it's your first time here, subscribe to the channel. I will be back tomorrow with 2 solid running backs that we could be looking at for this weekend's week 1 of the NFL, man. Until then, peace out, everybody.